Bilal has consistently held Shaeeda out to be a negative person. He has talked about her, he's berated her, and he's discussed her with his friends and family. Now, normally, in situations like that, especially with the younger generation, somebody like myself will come out and say something to the effect of, the problem with these young kids is that they're always on social media talking about their problems and talking about their issues to a bunch of strangers. Like, for instance, instead of you going out and you Facebooking your problems, face your problems. Talk about your issues with the person you have an issue with as opposed to spreading around. What Bilal is doing is what I like to think of as old head Facebook. Before there was a Facebook, there were people like Bilal who would go around and they would talk about their issues and their problems with their friends and family and spread their business all throughout the streets. And ironically, these would be the same people who would come back later and complain that everybody's talking about their business. And why can't people mind their own business and stay out of theirs? But Bilal is intentionally going out and poisoning the well for Shaeeda with his friends and family. And I'm going to show you how he's doing it and examples of how he did it throughout the season 9, 90 Day Fiance, as well as in this season, he's starting again, old habits die hard, and people will do what they do because that is what they have done. In the first instance, when we met Shaeeda in season 9 of 90 Day Fiance, he presented Shaeeda with this whole image of himself that he was a well-to-do American who's coming down and met her online, and he has all this money. He shows up, he's wearing expensive suits, expensive jewelry. He has probably a nice hotel room, taking her out different places because he's so romantic and he wants to impress her. And surely he didn't show up with rags and torn up baggage. Even Shaeeda talked about how he showed up with the Louis Vuitton bags and so on and so forth. Now, when he talked to her, they got engaged while she was still down in Trinidad. Then when he brings her up here, he refused to talk about his house, his money, and the things that he had going on financially. When he brings her up here, he picks her up in what she referred to as a Scooby-Doo van. Then he took her back to what I refer to as the Haunted Mansion, because the house that he took her to was the house that he grew up in. But the house is in tremendous disrepair. The ceiling is falling down. The paint is cracking off the wall. The porch is up on bricks. The house looks like it went through a hurricane or something. Instead of presenting her with that, called it a test, called it a prank, said that he was just testing to see where she was at and whether she was a gold digger or materialistic. Bad enough, he didn't just keep it to himself, but he shared it with his family. Then when he tried to present the whole idea of asking for a prenup, he takes his then fiance Shaeeda down to Atlanta, gets on a Ferris wheel, and slides her a prenup on his phone and says, oh yeah, this is what the lawyer sent me. Then he tries to present it to his sister, as we'll see. In this season, he has his mom. Shaeeda wanted to do some decor in the home. He takes her to a store. The store so happens to have baby clothes, which isn't surprising. If you go into a Kohl's, a Walmart, a Target, they have a section for infants and children. I don't understand why he would think that you're going to a furniture store and they wouldn't have children's and baby furniture in that store. He's a well-to-do guy. And clearly he's shopping in better places than Walmart and Target or a thrift shop, so he should understand these things. But apparently, Mr. Bilal didn't understand this stuff. And the way he presented the instance and the situation as to what occurred to his mother reveals a lot to us. Let's watch these clips, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Yeah, she wasn't too happy with that. She was like, you brought me from Trinidad to this?
Is that what she said?
Yeah. We did a Ferris wheel, and it was cool. And then she started to like get really nauseous, and she was getting really scared. Yeah, the height and everything like that. Here, I was just thinking like something to kind of take her mind off of being up in the sky. I really don't understand like why is it like a major big deal. Then she pulled the okie doke on me. The store is attached to another store, and it's a baby store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh, wow. It's almost like she's trying to dupe me into having a child now. I do not, absolutely do not want a child right now.
I was just trying to look out for his well-being and his best interests as well as the kids. Do you plan on apologizing for what? No.
What I want to point out is that Bilal isn't just talking to his family and his friends about what happened. He's also giving the description that somehow Shaeeda is being shiesty. Somehow she's being wrong. Somehow she's being manipulative. Somehow she's tricking him. Somehow she's only concerned about his money and what he has, and her's trying to take it because he's painting her as being materialistic, selfish, and some kind of Machiavellian trickster. The last bonus clip before they went up and had the discussion that turned into an argument, Shaeeda, Bilal's ex-wife, was asked, do you feel like you owe her an apology? Apology? Apology for what? As you recall from the clip. Now, I held out in my previous video, no apologies. I make the assertion that I think Bilal, per what we just watched, what he did with his family and his sister and his mom and everybody, what he does is he talks to other people. So he has this disagreement by proxy. He has these wars by proxy where you get other people to join the consensus. Then you have them go out and start the argument or start the fight. And that way you get to hold clean hands and pretend like you had nothing to do with it. Oh, that's them. I don't know why she came to you like that. And I think that's exactly what happened with his ex-wife. He went to her, told her, hey, you know this chick is coming from Trinidad and she's trying to take all our money and she's trying to get my funds and she's going to cut the kids out and I'm thinking about the babies and she's going to cut our kids out of all my fortune, and we got to think about the generational wealth and all the stuff that I owe them. And you were there and you helped me build it up. And if anybody should get some of my money, it should be you. And gassed her up. And then when Shaeeda went and talked to Shaeeda, she's going to speak to Bilal's fiance with the full and express permission of Bilal. So it's almost even more of a slap in the face when Shaeeda, the wife, is turning around saying, Shaeeda, the ex-wife, the chick that Bilal sent to have the conversation, hey, you came into my home and you had this conversation in my home. Of course that's going to ring to Shaeeda's core because to her, this is Bilal's house and Bilal sent me to have the conversation with you. So how are you going to be mad at me? Either she's about the money or she's not. If that's what you feel like she's about, then don't marry her. Don't forget the prenup and forget going back and talking to your family and friends. There's nothing to talk about. If that's what you think she's about or you suspect that, then you call the whole thing off because there shouldn't be any doubt. If there's doubts, then there shouldn't be a marriage. The whole part about the family and starting a family and having kids. I absolutely am not having kids right now. You wasn't speaking all that loud with all that much bass when you were talking to her before the marriage. You just kept talking, oh, she don't understand. Oh, she has a very fanciful way of looking at things. Oh, I promised to do it because that's why she had it included in the prenup. That was Shaeeda's little twist that she put in the prenup that he had to agree to having children. Now all of a sudden he want to change things up. I'm absolutely not having no children. Understanding that every year, every day that she gets older and older and older, her chances of conceiving a child and having a child naturally and safely are diminished every day. By him saying that, oh, we're going to put it off for a year or two, by putting it off for a year or two, she might not be able to get to the very thing that she wants the most. Here's the crazy part. If you made a promise to have her child and she made the promise that she would marry you and she promised you that she wouldn't go after your money, if you break your promise, why in the world do you think she's going to keep hers? She's not going to get another 5 or 10 year extension because this relationship didn't work or you changed your mind or you didn't want to have children. So that's something that you had to take into account. And if you were being a man about it, he would have told her what his position was, and he would have told her from the rip. There's nothing wrong with you recognizing that you don't want to have something or something isn't going to fit in your life because it's not for you. If you're going to have a child, you should want a child. You don't have kids because it's something that your partner want to do. It's something that you should want to do because the requirements for you to be a parent are so high. You have to be willing to do those things in order for you to be successful at it. It's not something you can half-ass. We assume that Bilal doesn't know what he's doing. But in the words of his mother, Bilal knows exactly what he's doing. Let's roll the clip.
Bilal is an imam and he's done counseling himself.
Based on the clip, this is where I find it tremendously insulting because not only does Bilal understand what he's doing, but he's counseled other people, and assuming that he's just not a terrible person and giving terrible advice, I assume that he kind of knows what he's doing, and at least he's been exposed to different situations. This is just an example of how Bilal doesn't respect Shaeeda. If he doesn't respect her, he's not going to respect her opinions. He's not going to respect the fact that he's taking something from her, because everything with Bilal is about Bilal. Bilal isn't suffering if Shaeeda doesn't have children, because he has children. As long as she doesn't go after his money, and as long as she doesn't go after his financial status or social status, his position in the church or the mosque, Bilal doesn't care, and it doesn't affect him. I'm James. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.